Now, some people, I guess it depends on what type of back you like, right? If you like that all-around back, the LT type who's gonna, catch it out of the backfield and all that, maybe so. Me, I really like the bell cow back that you can just hand it to him 25, 30 times and watch him get stronger as the game goes on and really punish the opposition. That's what I like. Your Adrian Petersons, your Barry Sanders, your Derrick Henrys.
I think by any definition, Bruce, Henry's amazing.
I agree.
Productivity is sick. We see games of 200 yards rushing, 25, 30 carries, seasons of 1,000 every year, 10 plus TDs, different teams still productive. He's aging, and it seems to not matter. Crazy. I don't know what definition are we talking about where he doesn't fit the bill,
Yeah, no, I get it. I just think some people, Steve, seem to like, guys who catch it out of the backfield and all. It's like LT's his guy. We have the argument.
But what if your team doesn't do that?
AP. Right.
So that the team, you weren't going to utilize that anyways.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Format Podcast Live. Supposed to be Sunday morning edition, but your boy overslept, to keep it a buck.
Right. We out here late.
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Good to see you. So just a quick explanation. So obviously last night we get on and we're doing what's supposed to be a quick instant reaction to the Buckeyes and Longhorns game. And it went all off the rails. We got into a protracted hip-hop discussion, which was great, by the way. That was a lot of fun. Things happen here on the Format Podcast sometimes, but that's where we ended up. And then after we got off of that, finished watching the LSU game. Then I go work out and I end up getting to sleep like almost 2:00 in the morning. So I overslept, which is nobody's fault but my own. I should have set an alarm, so I apologize. Wake up this morning and Baltimore Bruce hits me like, "Is there a show today?" And I'm like, "No." Right. I'm like, "No." And he's like, "What? Sunday?" I was like, "Oh, man." I was like, "Okay, we got to get a show." So here we are. Apologies for the off time that we're not used to. Ed Frank, what's going on, brother? And, what's up, Mr. Realist? How you doing? Yes, you are here early. Be Ready Sports Podcast. Good to see you. All right, Sneed, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
I'm excellent, man. Good to be here. Even though we are sort of late, it's all good.
Yeah.
We still got a quality show for you guys. We got good topics, and we're going to cook.
Yes, we are going to cook. So before we get to that, we're going to do the spiel. Then we're going to shout out the channel members. Then we're going to get rocking and rolling. All right, you know what time it is. If you're watching here on YouTube, make sure you go ahead, click that subscribe, that like, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast. We should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us a like, leave us a 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. Make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, make a note of it. The Format Podcast is live Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. And finally, if you're really and truly enjoying the content we're delivering you, make sure you hit that join button. There's going to be exclusive content here just for you. King Henry, Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs in NFL history. Would you agree with that?
He's top of the class, bro.
He's a beast. He's an absolute beast. Now, some people, I guess it depends on what type of back you like, right? If you like that all-around back, the LT type who's going to, catch it out of the backfield and all that, maybe so. Me, I really like the bell cow back that you can just hand it to him 25, 30 times and watch him get stronger as the game goes on and really punish the opposition. That's what I like. Your Adrian Petersons, your Barry Sanders, your Derrick Henrys.
I think by any definition, Bruce, Henry's amazing.
I agree.
Productivity is sick. We see games of 200 yards rushing, 25, 30 carries, seasons of 1,000 every year, 10 plus TDs, different teams still productive. He's aging, and it seems to not matter. Crazy. I don't know what definition are we talking about where he doesn't fit the bill,
Yeah, no, I get it. I just think some people, Steve, seem to like, guys who catch it out of the backfield and all. It's like LT's his guy. We have the argument.
But
back
like,
and
what if
forth
your
all the time.
team doesn't do
LT
that?
versus AP. Right.
So then the team, you weren't going to utilize that anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. I get it. I'm, again, we have our preferences of the different types of players we like. But the reason I bring this up is because, oh man, I didn't upload that graphic. Because Derrick Henry is going into his, what season is this for Derrick Henry? Is this 12th year? 11th or 12th year in the league. And he is, rapidly moving up the charts in terms of, say again?
All time.
Yeah. All time in terms of rushing yardage, in terms of rushing touchdowns. I think he's at a point, if he has another elite season, about 1,800 rushing yards, he can break into the top 10 all time in terms of rushing yardage. So this kind of bears the question of, how good is Derrick Henry? Where does he sit on the all time, list for you in terms of all the great running backs? Do we think, where do we think he kind of lands? And I think it's a pretty viable question, right? We love lists in sports, right? We love to make lists and we love to have these debates and arguments. So, as you can see, we've got a couple of graphics here. These are courtesy of ESPN.com. And as we can see right now, Derrick Henry is 19th, all time in rushing. And like I said, if he gets about 1,800 yards here, he can break into the top 10 this year. And if he breaks into the top 10, he's passing a lot of big time names, right?
Yeah.
Steven Jackson, Fred Taylor, Thurman Thomas, Franco Harris, Marcus Allen, Edgerrin James, Marshall Faulk, Jim Brown, Tony Dorsett. And
you got to think about it like this, Bruce. The guys that would be ahead of him, let's say he has the big year. Okay. Let's say he gets into the top 10. The guys who are ahead of him played more seasons than him.
Yeah, that's the crazy part too.
That's really the only thing. Like if I'm looking at the top 10, the only guys who wouldn't really play more seasons than him would be like Barry Sanders. I mean, that's really everybody else played a crap ton of years, bro.
Yeah.
Jim Brown, like he's gonna pass him, but Jim Brown didn't play a long time. So like really all those guys just played 16 seasons or more. 15, 16, 17 years.
Yeah. And to me, I think the crazy part, like you just mentioned, Barry Sanders, he averaged 1,500 rushing yards a season. Like
and he did it like once he hit that stride, it was just like every year.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but no, Derrick Henry, he's that dude, man. He is that dude. Tied for 6th in career rushing touchdowns with 106. So he's there. I mean, obviously we know he's a Hall of Famer, right? I think it's fair to say if he retires today, which he's not going to, but if he did, we know he's in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Where do you rank him among these guys? That's starting to be the question now, because he's by far the leading rusher as an active player. Where do you rank him? You want me to leave this up so you can see these names?
Yeah, that's fine. Where do I rank him? So part of this has to do with style. You brought it up earlier, the type of running back, right? And then like usage, how teams typically use him. I mean, clearly coaches don't feel like utilizing him in the passing game helps them win all that much.
Right.
I don't think, is he a great blocker? I haven't really heard anybody speak about his blocking.
I can't imagine he wouldn't be at his size and strength.
Right. Well, ideally he can block, but I've never heard anybody say, man, what a great blocker he is out of the backfield. So I'm guessing he's serviceable in that aspect in terms of his job duties, but they don't typically throw him the ball much.
Right.
So he's not going to have those prolific receiving numbers. Like if I look at this list, the discussions that you can have about LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, that kind of makes him a little bit unique. If you look at some of the players on this list, they played in the NFL at a time where they weren't throwing the running back the ball. So like that aspect of it isn't even involved. Like look at all these players, Bruce. Who are the great receiving running backs? Marshall Faulk, LaDainian Tomlinson. That's really it. The other guys are all pretty much the bell cow runners. So stylistically, they're all kind of very similar. I got him all time. Like if I'm picking my favorite running backs or the best running backs I ever seen play, he's starting to creep into that AP territory. He's starting to creep into that. I think he's better than Jerome Bettis. It's really just because Jerome Bettis played more that he would have more yards after this year. You know, I got him better than Edgerrin James, better than Franco Harris, better than Thurman Thomas. Like, he's better than a lot of these guys. John Riggins, like Steven Jackson was a great running back, but Derrick Henry's way better. He's just more capable. He's probably faster. He's bigger. Not that Steven Jackson wasn't a good back, but Derrick Henry's
really good.
Yeah, but Derrick Henry's better.
Yeah, he's different.
The only guys who are clearly better than him are Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, AP. I mean, there's a discussion to have about Emmitt Smith not being better than Derrick Henry if we're talking about actual running back.
Yeah.
Like, Emmitt Smith did have a great line, so it helped him get to these prolific numbers. But, like, I mean, what if Derrick Henry plays 4 or 5 more seasons getting over 1,000 yards?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, are we going to be talking about how he's going to be right there with 15, 16, 17,000 yards?
Right.
He's in the discussion, top 10 backs, 100%.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like, if he plays those extra couple of years, you know, at an elite level, now you're talking about him having a prolific career to the point where he's top 5. You got to push guys out and make room for Derrick Henry.
So I think he's better than Curtis Martin.
I do.
Him in the bus, that's tough. I'm trying to be.
He's better than Jerome Bettis.
Yeah.
He's better.
They're similar type of backs, except that he's taller, probably a little faster. Why do you definitively say that he's better than the bus?
The game-breaking plays, those 80-yard runs that Derrick Henry has done in his career. That's a real thing.
Okay.
He could do that anytime, right, Bruce? That could happen at any moment of the game.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way about Jerome Bettis.
Okay. Okay. Eric Dickerson, I don't think he's better than ED.
Not yet. All-time wise. Yeah.
Better than Curtis Martin. I think he's better than Frank Gore. Frank Gore was just able to continue to produce at a high level for a long time, but I think he's better than Frank Gore.
I'd rather have Derrick Henry than Frank Gore running the ball.
I agree. ED, not better than ED. Tony Dorsett, that's a tough one. Jim Brown, not better than Jim Brown, although it's so hard to compare when you're talking about, 70 years ago.
Yeah, but Jim Brown, it's just the fact that he didn't play more years, or else you would have seen that guy with the 15,000 yards rushing, probably.
Yeah, just a total ridiculous legend.
Remember, he was averaging almost 6 yards a carry for like 10 seasons.
Yeah.
9 seasons, whatever.
Right.
9.
Right. Then when you get with the Marshall Faulk and the Edgerrin Jameses and the LTs, that's where you start to bring in the guy who's not only an elite runner, but an elite receiver out of the backfield. And so that's where it comes into, okay, what type of scheme is the offense using? And, what type of back do you like when you're making this list? Like I said, I don't need that. I got receivers and I got a tight end. I want a bell cow back. Hand it to him 25, 30 times. That's what I'm doing. Jim Harbaugh style. He doesn't need to catch it a lot. Every now and then, but he doesn't need to catch it a lot. So that doesn't mean a lot to me, but more, I think a lot of people are probably, especially in this modern era of football, are going to say that more versatile type of back is better. I don't think it's better. I just think it's different. So yeah, it definitely, I think he's better than Fred Taylor. I think he's better than Steven Jackson. Probably better than Franco Harris.
Better than Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen was fantastic.
I think Marcus Allen was like the progenitor of that type of, that type of back that we talk about when we talk about the LTs and the Marshall Faulk and the Edgerrin James. Thurman Thomas, that's an interesting one. He was the guy right after Marshall Faulk. Remember, that was the guy getting 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving in the same season. That was crazy what he was doing.
I was a big fan of Thurman Thomas. The only problem with Thurman Thomas was the fact that Emmitt Smith was in the league at the same time. That's really it. I mean, Emmitt shined. Like, Barry was just incredible.
Yeah,
everybody could see what Barry would. So they're like, this guy has the worst line in football, and somehow he's like crazy productive.
Yeah.
You got to so if this is just about years in the league, Derrick Henry's going to pass a lot of these guys. In terms of abilities and how he plays the game, he's definitely top 10. He's been so dominant for so long, Bruce.
Yeah, yeah.
He came into the league. He was, elite, and he stayed elite through his 30s now. How old is he, Bruce? 31? 30? 31?
Sounds about right. Let me check real quick.
Like, and it's going to help him that he's in Baltimore, where, he's got a fantastic young quarterback, a brilliant coach, a good defense. Like, it's there for him
he's
to
still getting
continue.
1,900 yards. He's 30.
Yeah, he can still continue to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he has that kind of like that LeBron run in his 30s where there's a handful of years where he's still like the guy, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And football's less forgiving than hoops.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
crazy. He's getting tackled by the world's biggest, fastest dudes.
Right.
Big guys that are also pretty fast and they're super strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting, man. I didn't realize that he could break into the top 10 with a big season this year.
It's hard, Bruce, having to push guys out of that top 10.
That's the other
That's
thing,
hard,
right?
Man. There's a lot of good players in there.
Yeah. It's the same thing with basketball. It's like we're always so quick, not we, but some people are always so quick. Oh, such and such is top 10, such top 10. All right, cool. You put them in, who you taking out?
Yeah.
It always comes back to that. Who you taking out? That's what you have to think about. Who in good conscience can you remove to put someone in? That's always where those lists get difficult for me. And that's why it's very, very difficult unless it's just so overwhelming for me to put guys into my top 10.
You don't see Terrell Davis in that list. You didn't see O.J. Simpson in that list.
I don't think Terrell Davis had enough.
Exactly. But if we're having conversations about when they're running the ball, how good were they?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, elite playoff performer. Yeah, OJ. But I think OJ had bad early years and bad late years. His middle career peak was insane, but like started off slow and ended slow. So it's like, did he have we know how great Juice was, but did he have the sustained excellence like a lot of these guys?
And then there's guys that are like on the edge of this conversation, like Shady McCoy, who I remember as like the most dangerous player of his era.
He was a problem.
Yes.
Really?
And he blocked well. He got better over the course of his career. He's blocking better. Like if you gave him a screen pass and you had blockers 5-10 yards down the field,
he's gone. And you just see that towel waving behind him as he's running. Yeah.
That was pretty amazing. And there's other guys too worth mentioning too. Marshawn Lynch was great in his time. Maybe it's just that prolific productivity, the 12 to 15 years of 1,000 plus, 1,500 plus.
Yeah, no question.
Jamal Charles, if not injuries, man. I mean, he was 150 yards receiving some games.
Yeah, Jamal Charles.
And they'd give him all those touches inside the 10. So it was like 2-3 touchdown games.
Right.
Yeah,
no, he was nice. He was nice. All right.
I remember having those guys in my fantasy teams, Bruce. It was crazy. Yeah.
All right. Let's take a couple calls on this. All right. Number 904-219-8264. Your thoughts on where does King Henry kind of fit for you in this top 20 list? And especially if he makes the top 10 in terms of rushing yards, where do you put him? How good do you think he is? Who do you think he's better than on this list? Definitely curious to hear what you think about. And you know what? I didn't mention Snead. What he's doing in an era where the running back is not nearly as important as it once was, that's even more impressive. Year in, year out, he's still, that guy putting up huge numbers.
Good point.
I think that's big.
Yeah. I mean, you're just viewed as replaceable. The guy who comes in on third downs is the same way as the guy on first and second down.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't really. Yeah. But now the whole thing is, oh, you want to be a 3-down back, but a 3-down back, i.e., on third down, they want you to catch it, not hand it to you. So
when they want you to block,
you
got to pick up the blitz. It's a, they're spreading 4 out. They got 2 tight ends going on routes, and you're blocking.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Steve, what you got, man?
Am I allowed to call back again?
Yes, you can call
you
back.
You have not been banned, sir.
Right.
I have a group of guys in mind that I know I couldn't put Henry above.
Okay.
But there's a debate after like maybe 8 or 9 in my mind, where it's like once you get to like in my opinion, once you get past like those first 8 guys, then you can kind of have arguments like Marcus Allen, OJ, Earl Thomas versus someone like a Henry. That's where I kind of place him right now. Like if he has another big year or two, like then I think he can pass a lot of those guys. A lot of those guys were able to put up back in the day. They put up bigger numbers into their 30s too. Well, not elite numbers, but you know what I mean? Like some guys in their 30s were rushing for 1,000 yards still, closer to that 29, 30. Now I know he's done it at 30, but if he can add another year or two into his 30s, then I think you're saying, okay, he's like definitely in the top 10 instead of it being a debate. Which he still has with his advantage because he's playing in Baltimore with Lamar. He could probably play until he's 34, 35. You know what I mean? Like,
so
he
Steve,
doesn't look like he's slowing down.
No, he doesn't. Let me ask you this, Steve. Do you think that the actual the rushing yardage statistics and the rushing touchdowns, do you think that plays a role into where he is on this list of all-time running backs, or is it just a function of how good he is and what he can do? See, I know you know the difference, right? Like, you know, with LeBron, we see him putting up all these incredible numbers, but it's like a lot of people see him as not being as good as some of the other guys whose statistical production he eclipses, right? So where are you on that?
Man, like, to evaluate running back, you almost have to use numbers, though.
Yeah, you do. I think so.
It's one of those really tricky positions where
yards per carry.
Yeah, like attempts, the era in which you played, like those are a lot of context when you're evaluating running back. But I hear what you're saying, like pound for pound, do I think Henry is one of the best backs I've seen? Maybe that his numbers don't match some of those legends, but we can clearly see what he's able to do like, with the eye test.
Yeah, he's like 5.9, 4.9 yards per carry for his career.
Yeah. You know who else I think is like leaning into this discussion is Saquon. I don't think he's on par with Henry, but he's another guy that we can look at where it's like, man, at Saquon's peak, Saquon's one of the most electric runners. Like he's got a little bit of Barry Sanders. He's got a little bit of that make you miss in a phone box.
I see him as a Shady McCoy comp, actually.
I know what Steve is saying when he says Barry. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you know who, when I see Shady, do you know who reminds me? Like the two, it's not like they were that far apart, but when I watched Shady and I watched Le'Veon Bell, like they had that, but there's that patience they have.
Yeah.
Like we know Shady with all the cuts, but if you really watched him run, his patience and how he set up those cuts.
His patience was in the tackle box.
It was like, yes, but it was weird. Like he was quick enough to like that first yard when he would take that handoff, like he could go in slow-mo, but he could still hit it. That's how I think Shady and Le'Veon have more comparison. I think Saquon honestly has a lot more Barry comparison. He's just really low to the ground and he's stout. And some of the moves he can make on a dime, I think his fluidity, it's more like Barry. Well, when I see Shady, I think of a guy like Le'Veon. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm good with that. Yeah, it's really hard because, sorry to interrupt you, Steve, because when you look at, obviously, Emmitt Smith is by far, 2,500 yards roughly, all-time leading rusher in history, and nobody's going to tell you that he's the best running back of all time. Like, he may not be top 5, despite his incredible statistical production.
Some people
because the best running back before Emmitt Smith clearly was Jim Brown.
Right.
And he didn't have the statistical dominance, like total yards. Right? Because it's not just about total yards, Bruce.
No,
we know what we saw play in, play out, game in, game out. You know what I mean?
No question.
That's why there's so much endearing to Barry Sanders.
There you go.
Right.
He's hands down the greatest running back ever. To me.
I agree.
I can't push back. I can't.
Like I would have a top, like in my mind, I have a concrete top 5, top 6. And I would even argue the 7th, where this is how I look at it. But I understand why people push back on Emmitt, but I really can't, in good faith, not remember. I can't remember if it was like 93 or 94 when he held out those first 2 weeks. They were like 0-2 and 0-3, and then when he came back, it made a big difference. Where I understand those Dallas teams were loaded, but I think Emmitt gets a little bit too much. Like
I get it.
We belittle Emmitt too much because his team was so great, but he was really great.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, but if Barry Sanders played in a different era, then we wouldn't have that comp. Barry Sanders was a more capable running back than Emmitt Smith.
Agreed.
So we knew that if Barry Sanders was on Dallas, Barry Sanders would have averaged 7.5 yards a carry.
I don't know if I would agree with that. When you say capable, it's like, man, now we kind of have to define for like, what do you mean by capable? Because I think Emmitt was very much as capable.
Emmitt Smith was not as elusive as Barry Sanders.
No.
That was just going to hammer down. Where Barry could get you is like he takes that 8-yard run and makes it 50. That's what he does. But he's more elusive. He was more electrifying than Emmitt. But capable, man, Emmitt was damn capable. I mean,
but Barry Sanders had one weakness, and it was that he didn't have top end speed to beat the fastest corners and DBs. He sometimes got caught like 60 yards down the field. Sometimes that was his only weakness. I never saw weakness from Barry otherwise.
You could probably attribute that to the fact that he is pretty short. Like even in that time, he would have been short in standards of running back. Where it's like maybe that little leg might be an issue with him. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he worked on speed all that much. I think he constantly worked on his elusiveness, power.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's what we can all agree. Like we can dissect Barry, but we all agree he's one. And if you don't agree, it's like you can't really push back. Like you can understand that argument at least. And then after that, I think it does become a debate. But I have Barry one. But I think Henry has to put together another year or two like this. And I think he's like, okay, we can definitively say he's in the top 10. Now, how you argue that top 10, you know, that's always going to be on the table. But the fact of the matter is now he's like unquestionable. We can mention him in this top 10 because right now I'm close with him. But I don't know if I could put him over guys like OJ, Earl Campbell. I hear the argument, and this isn't not at all shitting on Derrick. I don't know if I can consent. I don't know if I can agree that he's better than Edge. Like I'm close, but I'm not fully convinced yet. If that's fair, like another year or two, and I'll be like, okay, I would put him over Edge. So there's a group of guys that still. I know we haven't seen him in 20 years or so, but they were really great. And I don't know if just because we haven't seen them in so much time, and we're seeing Henry right now, and we're not seeing many 30-year-olds do this anymore, if there's a little bit of a recency bias. But if he does it another year or two, he's definitely top 10.
Fair enough.
But, yes, I'm going to get back to the South Carolina game. You guys have a good one.
I appreciate it, Steve. Thanks for the call, man.
All right, fellas.
So Barry Sanders ran a 4.37 in sweats at the Oklahoma State Pro Day.
How was you remember some of those plays where he got caught by some of those fast DBs?
Yeah, but there was also plays where he just took off. But I see.
I bet you know what it was probably, Bruce. He was probably a little tired because he had already run 30 yards before he got past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I know, right?
Remember, he would reverse field and he would go in between.
Yeah.
Maybe that had something to do with it, bro. Breaking tackles, you know.
Absolutely. What up, Bruce?
Man, listen. Did Steve just say Adrian James is better? He got Adrian James over Derrick Henry.
He did say that.
No,
Yes.
I mean, you don't get the respect he's supposed to get. I mean, he gets the respect. Let me take that back. He gets respect. Because he's so physically gifted. It's like, it just don't look real when he do what he did. So, home run hitters, he got to be top 5 all time. How many 60-yard runs he got all time? We at all time. For let's say 40-yard runs. See, anybody can pull that up. How
See
many
if I can find
40-yard runs? Huh?
I'm gonna see if I can find it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think who got what? Home run hitter? Derrick Henry, home run hitter? Who got the most 80-yard, 60-yard runs? Shit like that. Like, I think he's probably like number one.
Adrian Peterson might be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Derrick Henry is most definitely top 8 all time, bro.
Derrick Henry has 24 career runs of 40-plus yards in the NFL.
Jesus Christ.
That's a lot.
So who's that number one? Where's that all time?
Hold on, I'm checking. Go ahead.
Is there any way you can find that out?
I'm trying to find it. Go ahead, man. Keep talking.
The fear that he strikes in people, get out of here. He's not out the top 10. Just stop. If he get a win, he most definitely going to move up. That's not right.
Barry Sanders has the most 50-yard touchdown runs in NFL history.
Well, there you go.
15, bro.
Yeah. And he has 46 runs of 40-plus yards.
Jim Brown is second with 12. So, like, there's space. What is it?
They don't give you the whole list. Well,
okay.
Maybe it's the way I'm phrasing the question.
Most rushes with 50-plus yards is Emmitt Smith.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, we still got another season. I'm just saying, in the modern time, Derrick Henry, because he's like a goddamn video game character, it just look unreal sometimes. Or can you just say he's probably the top 5 power runner all the time?
Oh, definitely.
Power back?
Definitely.
Yeah, we most definitely could say that.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, he's top 8, top 9. That's my opinion. I mean, goddamn, shit, man. Derrick Henry, man, he has a great year. Let's take this into consideration. Well, he's 31.
31, yeah.
Yeah. So, how old was Barry when he retired? 32, 33?
10 years, so I guess 32.
Yeah, okay. So, well, I'm like, yeah, they're going down the pipe. Hey.
32.
That's really, he never really like a catcher out the backfield or whatever. As far as like physical, like fear, striking fear in people, man, shit. You know, you gotta talk about Shady. Shady was a great back. What about Chris Johnson? Come on, man. Because I like Chris Johnson was a legend. As far as like, we talk about Derrick Henry. I think he's top 8 all time.
I think Chris Johnson had a short peak, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. Top 8 all time. He probably would have been up higher if he put the ball off the backfield more. But if you want a bell cow that's like fear,
that's what I like. That's the type of running back I like.
You remember some of those games in Tennessee where Derrick Henry just like destroyed teams for like the entire second half?
Yeah.
You know,
he's got to be like top 8. Look how big he is and how his top speed when he get that first step on you is over. We ain't never seen nothing like that, yo.
Remember when he threw what's his name, Bruce? You remember when he threw Ramsey?
Yeah, that was
he just grabbed him and just threw him flying.
Terrible.
When you get to go on your corners, can't even check Shorty.
While he was running like 20 miles an hour on the sideline.
Yeah,
so I think top 8. Top 8, yeah, that's fair. But for all time, I truly believe Walter Payton was better than Barry. But that's just my opinion.
You believe Walter Payton was better than who?
I got Walter Payton number 1 over Sweet. I got Sweet as number 1 over Barry.
Oh wow, okay.
So, and Emmitt Smith just benefited from that great offensive line. Me and you both could have ran for 1,500 on that line. Dallas, man.
Yeah, that line was vicious. That line was real serious.
All right, man. Go ahead, continue with the show, man. Jump back.
Hey, I appreciate the call, brother.
All right.
He said we could all ran for 1,500 behind.
I know, right? That line was crazy, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why they won Super Bowls, Bruce. You know, you got Troy Aikman, who's a good quarterback. You got Michael Irvin, who's a good wide receiver. You got, Alvin Harper, who's a good player. You had good players.
Jay Novacek.
But you had good players with a great line. There you go.
Laker Nation, what up?
is the Ready Sports Podcast.
My bad.
Had to die hard, bro.
Be ready, you guys. Stay ready. My fault. Be Ready Sports Podcast. Coach T, what's good?
Coach T,
Was good,
what up?
man. Just damn things off my neck. When I was a kid, I used to say what y'all be saying about Emmitt Smith. But come on, let's be real, man. Y'all over here talking about it. You put me behind that offensive line, man. Y'all wouldn't even finish the game with 20 yards behind that.
Obviously, that's hyperbolic.
Here's the man. I have never seen a football player get punished because he did his job well. Emmitt closed out games. He got 4 and 5 yards down the field. Regardless, the offensive line wasn't getting 4 and 5 yards down the field. You had to open up the holes. He finished those runs.
Mm-hmm.
So you got him as the best, Coach T?
He's taking first down, he was taking first down, second down, third down. Then the backup come in after the second move of the chain. The backup probably averaged 10, maybe got 10 carries a game. Emmitt carried that load. Y'all got to put more, man. Y'all got to put more. We got to get out of the nostalgia because, somebody can make all these fancy runs. Oh, they better than this guy because, he makes 1 or 2 cuts and gets upfield and not down there dancing with these defenders.
Okay, hold on. Let me just, I want to be clear here. Are you trying to say Emmitt Smith is better than Barry Sanders?
Yes.
Okay.
So what's your top 5? What's the order look like?
And let's be real. Let's be real. Let's be real. Before Barry bust that 180-yard run, how many times have he stalled his offense because they gave him the ball 3 and 4 times and he wasn't going anywhere? Let's be real.
Well, I mean, he does average 5 yards a carry for his career. So,
Coach T, he got
that one big run. 3 or 4 series down the road after their team is already getting smacked.
Coach T, Barry Sanders has 15. Coach T, Barry Sanders has 15 50-plus yard TD runs.
46 40-plus yard TD runs in 10 years.
The game's about finding pay dirt, and this guy's finding it on these long runs. I mean, he's not just getting through the line; he's breaking through the second and third level.
You guys are going through the cumulative stats that you're reading. You guys watch the game. You've seen him have games where he had 10, 11, 12 carries for minus 15 yards and he breaks that one.
But what does that tell you though?
You're saying one guy who stalls his offense out is better and more productive than the one guy who keeps his offense moving and wins games and wins titles.
To that point, why do you think that Barry Sanders had all that negative yardage?
We're talking about those big runs those 1 or 2 big runs he gets.
But hold on a second, Coach T. We know the names of the Dallas Cowboys linemen from Emmitt Smith era. We don't know the names of the linemen for the Detroit Lions in the 1990s. We don't know outside of Herman Moore, who could you possibly name from the Lions wide receivers? Or do you remember the name of the quarterback for the Lions during the Barry era? I remember because I was a huge Lions fan. But I'm just saying, nobody knows those guys because those guys were average or below average. I'm not saying it's Barry's fault that he played with great players. I'm saying there was a clear reason why Emmitt got a chance to really reach his potential. I don't think Barry reached his potential. I think there was more meat on the bone.
There was definitely more meat on the bone. Yes. Yeah. He would have broke that record like the following year. In 11 years, he would have broke the rushing record. Emmitt Smith himself says, if Barry Sanders doesn't step away, we're looking at the 20,000-yard running back. Emmitt said that. Not me, not Snead. Emmitt said that.
And that's his contemporary. They were competing.
Yes.
I'm not saying Barry's not. I'm not saying Barry's not great, but you guys are being very disingenuous when it comes to Emmitt Smith.
What if we got him at number 2? Is that good enough, or are you still mad?
I'm not mad. I'm just saying, y'all, we got to be, even though we don't like the Cowboys, we still got to be honest with ourselves.
Nobody said Emmitt Smith is.
I don't think this isn't about Cowboys.
He's leading. Yeah, he had a great offensive line. That's great. But if you put a shit back behind the offensive line, they're still not going anywhere. So a lot of it falls on his shoulder. Yeah, when I was a kid, I said exactly the same thing you guys are saying.
I can put a shit back behind a great offensive line. Look at Payton Hillis. What was so great about him?
They're not going
offensive line. He had a huge year. He was on the Madden cover off of 1 year.
Not going anywhere. You can open up them holes with that crappy ass bag, ain't doing nothing with them. So, you can put everything around a player, but if they don't have the ability to capitalize on what's around them, then that player is garbage. Yes, he did capitalize. He's still the all-time leading rusher in yards, all-time leading rusher in rushing touchdowns for the league, and it's not even close.
Right. So it's not what he played 18 years, right?
He was getting TDs in Arizona at the end of his career. He kept playing.
No, that's cool, but it's not close. But he played 18 years. Okay, cool. He was able to keep himself in condition and avoid injury, which is a skill in of itself.
For a running back, you got to give respect to that.
That's exactly what I was just doing.
Is what?
I was just doing that. The point I'm trying to make is nobody's saying Emmitt Smith isn't a bum. What we're saying is if Barry Sanders has the benefit of that offensive line and those weapons,
Emmitt Smith
is a bum. Correct. No one's saying he's a bum.
He said nobody said Emmitt Smith isn't a bum.
No, nobody's saying he's a bum. But we're saying if you give Barry Sanders the benefit of all those other weapons and that O-line, good God. So when you're comparing Emmitt Smith, you're talking about.
I'm going to say what. Go ahead, your show.
No, we're just talking about when you comparing him with all the other all-time backs. That's what we're saying. If they had the benefit of what he had, good Lord. Think about if you put Adrian Peterson behind that line for however many years that Emmitt Smith played. LaDainian Tomlinson, right? There's a lot of dudes you put him behind that line. In terms of the all-time great backs, I think you're having similar or same results.
Coach T, can I do, like if I rate the running backs on a 100-point rating system, like if I give Emmitt a 98 rating and I give Barry a 99, is that really a big deal? Because that's kind of what I'm doing, right? Like if I got Barry number 1 and I got Emmitt number 2, it's like 99 versus a 98.
I get it, but we got to be real still. We living in the hypotheticals, not hypotheticals, wrong road choice. But we're in a nostalgia because we remember those breakout runs that he's had and these all-time stats, but we forget the negative yardage. He has the most negative runs out of all these great running backs. Y'all cannot forget that.
If a guy's getting wrapped up 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage, what are we talking about?
Bad offensive linemen and all that. There's been plenty of running backs that are less talented than Barry Sanders, that have shitty lines, and they are not leading the league in negative rushing, negative yards from scrimmage every year that Barry Sanders was.
And yet Barry Sanders is still 4th all time on the rushing list and retired 2nd.
But you can't gloss over that, Bruce.
Okay.
You gotta be 100%.
So the negative yards per rush is gonna ding him?
Say that again.
So this is new to me. I've never heard this before. We're notching Barry Sanders down because there were negative rushes.
Because you gotta hold. You gotta hold them accountable for the good and the bad. If you're putting them on the all-time list.
Hold on a second. He can't control. Coach T, he can't control the defensive line getting in past the lineman. He can't control that.
You're saying that he's the greatest running back ever.
Coach T, we got to agree to disagree on this so we can move on, man. You feel it's Emmitt. We say it's Barry. It is what it is. That's probably an argument that's going to go on till the end of time. But, I mean, it's all good. Appreciate the call, though, man.
Thanks.
We're going to go ahead and get to this next topic.
All
All right, brother. All right. Let's go ahead and
Terry was my favorite, man.